This session is created specifically for the people who want to contribute to a child's future by providing them the opportunity to complete the post-secondary education of their choice. 4 things we will accomplish in this session. 1. Help you discover the amazing benefits of the government education program. 2. Touch the basis of the economic trends affecting younger generations. 3. Help you understand how the education program strategy works. 4. Leave you inspired to take action on your child's biggest opportunity. Let's get started. Of all the factors that could influence your child's future employment, earning power, and career satisfaction, a post-secondary education is probably the most significant. Learning is the key to success at every stage of life. Education is among the best investments you can make today for your child's future. Today in Canada, the earnings of university graduates are 61% higher than the earnings of high school graduates. According to Human Resources and Skills Development Canada, workers with a post-secondary education can expect to see their wages grow much faster than workers with only a high school diploma. They are also much more likely to find a job more quickly after they graduate and much less likely to be unemployed. Considering that 70% of jobs today require a post-secondary education, we can only anticipate the value of education to be just as important, if not more important, in the future. These striking statistics underline the many real-world advantages people with post-secondary education have. Workers who have completed post-secondary education can enjoy greater self-esteem, a more challenging and rewarding career, and the peace of mind that comes from having options in today's fast-moving economy. No doubt, you want to make sure that your children have the best possible tools to succeed in their personal and professional lives. Giving them access to a post-secondary education is something all parents hope to be able to do. But while the rapid increase in enrollment rates across Canada shows a growing demand for post-secondary education, costs continue to climb just as quickly. The budget cuts in the education sector by various levels of government makes a constant increase in the cost of higher education inevitable. Unless you decide to take out a loan, it may be quite difficult to find the money needed to pay for a 4-year post-secondary program for just one child. According to Statistics Canada, university tuition fees have risen 135% in the past 10 years. Canadian full-time students in undergraduate programs paid $5,359 on average in tuition fees for the 2011-2012 academic year this fall, compared with $5,138 a year earlier. This follows a 4% increase in 2010-2011. Over the past decade, tuition fees have risen at almost twice the pace of inflation, 4.3 versus 2.3%. If this continues, it makes saving for your children's post-secondary education ever more important. So, the challenge for parents and students is clear. The value of education is too great to ignore, yet for most, the costs are too difficult to manage without having a dedicated savings plan in place. This is one challenge, though, that can be met with planning and financial guidance. The key question is the following. Are you ready for a challenge? Do you want to ensure that your children have the necessary financial resources to go to university? If you answered yes, let's see what your choices are. Let your children go into debt to pay for their education? Pay or borrow the amount required while your child is at university. Or save now and be able to offer this opportunity to your child later on. Which option would you prefer? What would be the solution? In our opinion, the Registered Education Savings Plan is the best solution to save for a child's education. Registered Education Savings Plan, RESP, can be an effective way to save because it offers tax benefits and allows you to take advantage of federal government grants. One might ask, why should I save for my child's education? Because it pays to save. With an RESP, you can turn your child's dream into reality. Saving just $1 can make a difference. Plan contributions are made at your own pace and accumulate tax-free. Let's see what the components of the Registered Education Savings Plan are. There are 4 major elements: your contributions, Education Savings Grants, Canada and Quebec grants, Canada Learning Bond, earnings on all the grants listed above. Why would the Registered Education Savings Plan be the best strategy? Well, let's see. Here are the key points of the Education Savings Program. You will save for your child's education. You will take advantage of the Canada Education Savings Grants and the Canada Learning Bond if you qualify. You will take advantage of the Quebec Education Savings Incentive. You will accumulate in a tax-sheltered plan. You will invest in high-performance investments. Education savings strategies are often built around a Registered Education Savings Plan, RESP. An RESP combines flexibility, tax-deferred investment growth, and direct government assistance to help you reach your education savings goals for your children. This table looks busy and hard to follow. However, it's not as complicated as you might think. First, the basic federal grant. The amount is equal to 20% of your yearly contributions and is granted to all the investors regardless of the family income. The CESG lifetime limit for each child is $7,200. Second, additional Canada Education Savings Grant. Depending on your family's income, your child could receive additional funds in the form of additional CESG. The grant will be 20% or 10% for every dollar on the first $500 of the contribution. Third, you can get the Canada Learning Bond if your child was born after December 31, 2003, $500 once the contract is in force, and $100 every following year until he or she turns 15 years old. Fourth, the basic amount of Quebec Education Savings Incentive is equal to 10% of the net contributions paid during the year, up to $250 per year. An increase of up to $50 per year may be added to the basic amount to help low and middle income families. Let's do the math. For every dollar you contribute to your Registered Education Savings Plan, the government will contribute a further 20 to 60%. You could receive a total of $7,200 from the Canada Education Savings Grant, $3,600 from the Quebec Education Savings Incentive, and a further $2,000 from the Canada Learning Bond, CLB, a total gift of $12,800, which could benefit your child. Let's analyze all the grants one by one. We'll start with the Canada Education Savings Grant. It is a government grant developed for the purposes of encouraging parents, grandparents, friends, and relatives to save for the post-secondary education of a child. The CESG is paid directly into the RESP for which the child is the beneficiary. The maximum lifetime grant that the federal government can give your child is $7,200. Your child can use the money for full-time or part-time studies in an apprenticeship program, trade school, cégep, college, or university. Over 3 million children have already received this grant. Your child may also be eligible for a $500 Canada Learning Bond if he or she was born after December 31, 2003, and if you receive the National Child Benefit. This usually applies to families whose net family income is $40,970 or less per year. Your child could also get an extra $100 per year up to age 15, as long as you continue to receive the National Child Benefit Supplement. You do not have to contribute any of your own money to get the Canada Learning Bond. All you need to do is open an RESP, and the Government of Canada will deposit the money into your child's RESP account. The Quebec Education Savings Incentive, QESI, is a tax measure of the Quebec government which was introduced on February 21, 2007. It is a refundable tax credit which is paid directly into your RESP by Revenu Quebec. The QESI represents 10 to 20% of the contributions made to your RESP. Its rate varies according to your family income. Your child receives a total QESI amount which can reach $3,600. This amount grows tax-free. Would you like to see the difference that saving for a child's education with an RESP can make? Just take a look at two charts and see how much greater your savings can be with an RESP and the Canada Education Savings Grant, CESG. You could be ahead by over $32,870. And we left out the Quebec Education Savings Incentive and Canada Learning Bond. Here's a question for you. If you could save $65,103 or $97,870 making the same contributions, which would you choose? The answer is obvious. You would always prefer more to less for the same amount of time and effort. We will give you a couple of tips. Following these two simple rules can make it much easier to build your RESP. Start early. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to multiply. Burton Malkiel writes in the Random Walk Guide to Investing, "The amount of capital you start with is not nearly as important as getting started early. Procrastination is the natural assassin of opportunity. Every year you put off investing makes your ultimate goal more difficult to achieve. Time is the primary ingredient to the magic that is compounding. Save on a regular basis. It's much easier to budget a smaller amount each month rather than having to come up with a large amount once a year. Our convenient automatic savings plans can be a big help. You may ask, what if I can't afford to save for my child's education right now? Well, as we mentioned already, even a small amount can make a difference when the Canada Education Savings Grant is added to your savings. Plus, that money will earn interest over time. Another effective solution would be an RESP loan. It will let you receive the maximum government grant while staying within your budget. Let's see how the RESP loan works. Let's say you can afford this year only a lump sum of $1,000. If you take a loan for the additional $1,000, your total deposit into the RESP will be $2,000. The government grant will be $400, 20% of the $2,000. As for the provincial government, Quebec will contribute $200, 10% of $2,000. Basically, the total contribution to the RESP would be $2,600. We will touch on some technical parts of the concept. How can you open an RESP? There are 3 basic steps. Step 1. Get a social insurance number for your child. It's free. Call 1-800-O-Canada, 1-800-622-6232. Step 2. Contact the RESP provider of your choice that offers the Canada Learning Bond and Canada Education Savings Grant to open an RESP. Step 3. Open an RESP and complete the application forms. But before you invest, make sure that you know the fine print of the contract. Ask questions. It is your right. What fees are you expected to pay? When do you have to pay them? What kinds of post-secondary programs qualify? When and how will payments be made from the plan? What happens if your beneficiary does not go on to post-secondary education? Can you transfer your RESP to another plan or to other beneficiaries? What happens if you want to cancel your plan? How easy is it to get your money out? The number of years you can contribute depends on the plan. Usually, the maximum contribution period is 31 years. An RESP plan can stay open for up to 36 years. There are 3 basic types of RESPs: individual plans, family plans, and group plans. You need to discuss with your financial advisor which plan better suits your needs. Anyone can open an individual RESP, and anyone can contribute to it. This includes parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends. You can even contribute to an individual plan for yourself. Only one beneficiary is permitted at any given time. No blood relationship to the subscriber is required. Canada Education Savings Grant is paid into the RESP in the name of the beneficiary until the end of the year he or she turns 17. Canada Learning Bond entitlements are available to the beneficiary under age 16. A family RESP can have 1 or more beneficiaries, but each beneficiary must be related to the contributor. The beneficiaries must be under 21 when they're named. Contributions can only be made until a beneficiary turns 21. Additional Canada Education Savings Grant and Canada Learning Bond can only be paid if all beneficiaries of the RESP are brothers and sisters. A group RESP pools the contributions of many investors. All beneficiaries must share the same year of birth. Contributions are made according to a schedule and are used to buy plan units. The date the plan matures is set at the time of enrollment and is based on the child's birth date. When the plan matures, the beneficiary usually shares in the pooled earnings of investors with children the same age. If your child does not begin post-secondary studies at the same time as the rest of the group, the earnings you receive from the plan may be affected. And if you drop out of the plan before it matures, you forfeit all of your earnings to the group. When the child is ready to go to school, the subscriber needs to start withdrawing money from the RESP account. To withdraw money, you have to provide proof of enrollment. You don't have to provide receipts or any kind of justification for your payment request. Just ask for your money. The money in your RESP is your money until you give it to your child. All withdrawals from an RESP account can be sent to either you, the subscriber, or your child, the beneficiary. Your child has no control over the money. In your RESP account, there are two different types of money: contributions and accumulated income. The contribution amount is the sum of all the contributions that you made to the account over the years. The accumulated income is made up of grants, capital gains, interest, dividends earned in the account. In other words, any money that is not a contribution is considered to be accumulated income. This distinction is important because the taxation of contribution withdrawals is different than accumulated income. We suggest consulting a financial advisor to better understand the withdrawal rules. First, one withdrawal rule to get out of the way. You are only allowed to withdraw $5,000 of accumulated income in the first 13 weeks. We believe this is designed so that a child who doesn't want to go to post-secondary education won't just sign up and attend one term in order to withdraw all the money in the RESP instead of the subscriber collapsing it properly. After that, you may withdraw all funds. As a part-time student, your child can get a maximum of $2,500 in the first 13 weeks. What happens if Junior decides that school is not for him? Do you have to collapse the plan and pay a pile of tax on it? First of all, you have lots of time to collapse the plan, so don't do it right away. Wait a while. Your child may decide to continue studying later. RESP accounts can remain open for up to 36 years. If the money is not used 36 years after the RESP is opened, transfer it to a brother or sister's RESP. You may transfer the money into a Registered Retirement Savings Plan, RRSP, to help you save for your retirement. In this case, the amount you saved goes back to you, and the grants will be returned to the Government of Canada. The last solution will be just to withdraw your contributions. All right. By now, you should have a good grasp of the Registered Education Savings Plan strategy. You should understand all the benefits of the plan, how to open an RESP contract, what type of plans exist, how to withdraw the funds from the plan, and what to do if your child does not want to pursue the education. One might ask, why not just set money aside in a separate account? Here is why. Because the investment income you earn will be taxable in your hands in the year you earn it. This means you could miss out on the benefit of tax-deferred growth. Because you will not receive the Canada Education Savings Grant or any other government incentives. Because the funds specifically designated for your child's education can provide added incentive to study well and reassurance that the money will be there when your child goes to school. We have accomplished 4 things in this session. 1. You discovered the amazing benefits of the government education program. Our mission is accomplished if you understand the advantages offered by the Government of Canada to you and your children. 2. We touched the basis of the economic trends affecting younger generations. 3. You got to understand how the education program strategy works. 4. Hopefully, we left you inspired to take action on your child's biggest opportunity. We want to make sure that your children have the best possible tools to succeed in their personal and professional lives. We offer free individual meetings, as well as group workshops through different community organizations, providing services to children, families, mothers, and others. We are qualified to answer all your questions and to help you through the subscription process. For further information, call 514-638-4070 or email Jana at alphafinancialservices.net.